Tonight, ABC 57 News tracking the coronavirus 1 year later. Good evening, everyone. I'm Brian Conybeare.
And I'm Tiffany Salameh. Today, March 11th, is the 1-year anniversary of the first confirmed COVID case here in St. Joseph County.
That was the same day the World Health Organization officially declared the virus a global pandemic.
Tonight, the ABC 57 team takes an in-depth look at the past 12 months and all the impacts of it all, from healthcare to education, the economic fallout to the vaccines now rolling out, and where we all go from here.
And word just coming in moments ago about the very first coronavirus variant now confirmed here in St. Joseph County. The health department saying in the last hour the British B.1.1.7 variant was just identified this week through surveillance testing. But there's no word on the patient involved or their condition. It's just another challenge for local health experts 1 year after it all started.
I never, in my professional life would have imagined it. Never would have imagined everything we've dealt with, as a community and as a medical profession and as public health professionals.
Dr. Mark Fox, the deputy health officer at the St. Joseph County Health Department, still can't believe it's already been a full year since the pandemic hit home in Michiana.
The thing that stands out to me is just how naive we were. We really thought it would be more of a seasonal illness and that it would go away.
That obviously didn't happen. As COVID case counts, hospitalizations, and deaths started rising in South Bend and around the world, so did questions about the response from the White House Coronavirus Task Force, headed by former Indiana Governor Mike Pence, and then President Donald Trump admittedly downplaying the dangers, refusing to wear a mask, and trying in vain to keep the economy open.
How hard did that make your job?
It makes it really challenging because, I don't care if you're a Republican or a Democrat or a Catholic or a Baptist or whatever. We're trying to make recommendations that will protect the health of the broader community.
But many people did push back, protesting all the mask mandates, school and business shutdowns.
Everyone has had to sacrifice. And by and large, I think people understand the need for it and the rationale. Nobody likes it, nobody's happy about it, but most people really have responded, I think, pretty admirably.
Except those who turned very political and at times threatening. Some even claiming the pandemic is a complete hoax and taking it out on experts like Dr. Fox himself.
How many death threats did you get?
Just 2. Fortunately. Lots of hate mail. Some of the hate mail, you just kind of laugh. People have to vent, okay. But obviously some of it has an edge. The death threats are certainly unsettling, and especially for my family, it's unsettling for them. But by and large, I would say, the death threats and hate mail aside, the goodwill of the community and people trying to do the right thing has been gratifying.
Dr. Fox is also the dean of the IU School of Medicine South Bend campus and has appeared on ABC 57, CNN, and in countless other media. His position with the health department is technically just part-time, and he's only supposed to put in about 10 hours a week.
How many hours are you really putting in over the last year? I would assume you're probably doing 10 hours a week of media interviews, aren't you?
Certainly some weeks it's been, almost 10 hours of media alone. I, almost chuckle at how we really thought that was going to be a pretty intense, short-lived response, and then we'd be okay. Never had the sense that, we'd be struggling with this still a year later.
And here we are.
Yeah.
Another unassuming healthcare expert was suddenly thrown into the spotlight because she works here at the Berrien County Health Department.
I don't think any of us had a real understanding of what sort of virus we were handling and what it was going to become.
Jillian Conrad has spent 10 years as the communications manager for the health department in Berrien, where the first confirmed coronavirus case came 10 days after St. Joseph County's.
It was March 21st, 2020, was when we announced the first case of COVID-19 here in Berrien County. Some of the very first cases that were confirmed were associated with a concert that happened at Andrews University.
Popular Christian singer Sandy Patty appearing at the college in Berrien Springs on March the 8th, then announcing she tested positive shortly after the performance and meeting VIPs backstage. The beginning of a year-long battle against the virus.
So how difficult has this past 12 months been for you and the team here?
2020 was not easy for anybody. This year has been difficult. None of us anticipated what this pandemic would be, how it would impact all of our departments, our teams, and us personally. So, you know, a difficult year definitely for all, but for public health workers across the globe, this has been a doozy.
She too has faced blowback from angry residents who don't like the strict pandemic precautions her team had to enforce. With a new virus, everyone was just learning about.
We continue to have an evolving situation that we need to have more grace for new information and pivots in decision making.
But when the first vaccine clinics finally started in January and February, people lined up to get their shots and even volunteer to help.
We're so grateful for the people who are willing to stand in our parking lot for 8 hours in sub-zero temperatures, making sure that we can keep our vaccination program rolling even though we were in the dead of winter.
And with those vaccine efforts now expanding and some of the restrictions being lifted, everyone sees a light at the end of the tunnel, despite the emergence of several new, more contagious coronavirus variants.
We still have a long ways to go. And while we're trudging through the darkness of this tunnel still, we all have to remain vigilant with the masking and the social distancing, hand washing, staying home if we're sick. All of those things continue to be extremely important in this race against time.
And we want to publicly thank Dr. Fox, Jillian Conrad, and all our healthcare heroes in Michiana for all their hard work and for helping us provide up-to-date, accurate information to you, our ABC 57 viewers. We'll have their thoughts on where we all go from here coming up in the next half hour. Tiffany?
They definitely deserve our thanks, Brian. And one thing giving us all hope right now is the rapidly rising number of people getting vaccinated nationwide and here at home. The latest numbers from Indiana today show almost 18% of the population getting their first dose, with 11.5% of all Hoosiers now fully vaccinated. And in Michigan, the state reporting nearly 22.5% of adults have gotten their first dose, and 12.5% are now fully vaccinated.
Is good news, Tiffany. Locally, more and more people here in Michiana are rolling up their sleeves, too, as eligibility expands to more age groups. In St. Joseph County, just over 19% of the population getting the first dose, with more than 11%, 11.2 to be exact, now fully vaccinated. In Elkhart, just over 14% of the population there getting their first dose, with close to 9%. 8.8 now fully vaccinated. Across the state line in Berrien County, nearly 23.5% of the people there have gotten their first shot. These are adults over the age of 16, and more than 13%, 13.6% of people are now fully vaccinated in Berrien County.
A relentless virus changing every aspect of our lives over the last year.
We've done our best to make it through it the best we can.
Millions of lives lost around the world, many forced into isolation, daily routines adapted. Coming up on Tracking the Coronavirus 1 year later, we take an in-depth look at how the pandemic unfolded.
And a tale of two states.
They had to live or die by press conference to find out how these orders were going to affect them.
How the varying restrictions between Indiana and Michigan affected the local economy.
Plus, Michiana United.
It just feels really good when you get to help people and you get to help them survive.
How the pandemic brought local communities together.
That deadly virus spreading from China around the globe, and tonight it is now here in the U.S.
That mystery virus sending a man in his 30s to this hospital in Washington State.
I think the risk to American citizens now is low.
That was a director from the Centers for Disease Control, unaware of what the next 12 months would bring.
We now have a name for the disease.
On February 11th, the World Health Organization officially named this mystery virus COVID-19.
COVID-19. CO stands for corona, as you know. VI stands for virus, D for disease, so COVID.
A name now that we will never forget. The fallout here in the U.S. was fast. As President Trump quickly announced travel restrictions, the first death was reported.
I have just signed and declared a public health emergency.
Locally, Governor Eric Holcomb announced the first confirmed case in Indiana and declared a public state of emergency.
We have therefore made the assessment that COVID-19 can be characterized as a pandemic.
That same day,
I can confirm that we have one positive case here in St. Joseph County.
The NBA also suspending its season, fearing it could spread from player to player.
The NBA's Rudy Gobert tests positive for the virus.
The dominoes started to fall. Major League Baseball, the NHL, NCAA, all suspending or canceling seasons altogether.
The International Olympic Committee and Japan's Prime Minister announced the 2020 Summer Olympic Games will be postponed until summer 2021.
The University of Notre Dame canceling all in-person classes for at least a month. And K through 12 schools, they weren't immune either. A drastic measure in Michigan. Every school in the state will close for at least 3 weeks.
This, we feel, is a necessary step to protect kids and teachers and families and our overall public health.
People are preparing for the worst.
We in Berrien County were notified of our first presumptive positive cases of coronavirus in 2 Berrien County residents.
Stay-at-home orders went into effect.
We are now at a turning point where additional measures are necessary.
Some communities enforced it more strictly than others.
We don't want to add to panic. We know that people are feeling uneasy and not knowing whether they should go out and whether they shouldn't. But if they follow CDC guidelines, they should be okay, and we want to really strongly encourage that.
As we turn the page into April, the disease was just taking hold. For the first time, the White House and CDC recommending that we wear face coverings in public to help slow the spread of the virus.
Right now, in the state of Indiana, there are more than 2,500 cases with 65 deaths.
The world, the U.S., and all of us here in Michiana, we're adapting to a new normal. Healthcare wasn't our only concern. By April 2nd, 10 million Americans were out of work, with 6.6 million people applying for unemployment.
Wash your hands.
CDC recommends 6 feet.
Washing hands, social distancing, and wearing a face mask all became common practices and common phrases. And so did 2 other terms, working from home and e-learning.
It's been good so far. I mean, this is day 1, so I'm sure we're in it for the long haul.
And they were. Everyone was. Remote learning would be implemented both Indiana and Michigan for the rest of the school year. May 1st, some hope on the horizon. Governor Holcomb announced a 5-stage back-on-track plan in Indiana to gradually reopen businesses. But the damage had already been done.
The coronavirus pandemic taking its toll on small businesses in downtown South Bend.
How can we survive this?
Real challenge right now is, even if we could do widespread testing, is that the right approach at this time?
Every avenue was being explored as to how to combat and slow down COVID-19. Sports sidelined.
We tried to move their dates. We tried to get them to stay here with us and get married.
Wedding plans canceled. And graduations done drive-through style.
I'm grateful for everybody that came out.
By May 20th, COVID-19 cases had topped 5 million worldwide.
Governor Eric Holcomb announced the state would stay at stage 4.5 of his Back on Track plan.
Governor Eric Holcomb mandating the use of face masks across Indiana.
Progress to slow the spread during the summer was stymied by another surge in cases. Not deterred, St. Joe County and the University of Notre Dame both decided to push on and pursue not only a return to the classroom in the fall, but a return to the football field.
I've been doing it for 30 years. I feel like a first-year head coach.
The Irish, for the first time in school history, were set to join the ACC conference.
Notre Dame Stadium will be limited to just 20% capacity this season. That's about 15,000 people.
September 26th, another glimmer of hope. Indiana moves to stage 5 of their reopening plan, but experts kept warning us of another surge in cases as winter was nearing.
I am in what appears to be an igloo.
As local businesses were once again forced to adapt.
We realized that a lot of people are, nervous about eating out, especially indoors as it gets colder.
Not only did we see a spike, but the largest one-day total of positive coronavirus cases.
I have really good news.
December 11th, 2020.
Today, our nation has achieved a medical miracle.
Almost 2 months after he tested positive for the coronavirus.
We have delivered a safe and effective vaccine in just 9 months.
President Trump sat in the Oval Office to deliver the news that millions of Americans have been waiting for.
I am thrilled to report that the FDA has authorized the Pfizer vaccine.
3 days later, the vaccine rollout began in the United States.
And you can see he's rolling up his left sleeve, talking to the physician
as they're about to administer the Pfizer coronavirus vaccine. A seminal moment since the pandemic began. Later that morning, the FDA also approved the Moderna vaccine for emergency use.
My parents, who I haven't been able to see for over a year because I've been on the front lines. So this gives me an opportunity to be able to go see them now.
Finally, happy moments as the first healthcare workers received their first doses of the Pfizer vaccine. The stats are absolutely staggering. Over 115 million cases worldwide of the coronavirus, including 2.5 million deaths. In our own backyard in Michiana counties, including St. Joe, over 101,000 cases of COVID-19. The mask mandate remains in effect until March 31st, until more Hoosiers and Michiganders can get their sleeves rolled up to get the vaccine. Until then, Michiana, wash your hands, mask up, and give your neighbors some space. Vahid, Sadrzadeh, ABC 57 News.
Vahid, thank you. Certainly a year no one will forget. And up next, are you still working remotely? Have you even gone out to eat yet? Or back to church in person? The incredible changes we've all endured since March 11th, 2020. Life as we know it has changed a lot in the last year. From social distancing to wearing masks everywhere we go, and for most people, working from home.
Hi, this is Tana Kelley with ABC 57.
That all applies to us here at ABC 57 as well, with most of our staff still working remotely.
Well, we've been working home probably since last March or April, and it was a transition. Our job is very much going out into the public, talking to people in our community.
Tana Kelley, our Learning Curve reporter, has spent the past year working from home.
I mean, it's a little different, you get out of bed and you are home instead of going to the station, and you're doing your calls here and your interviews here, and sometimes you even go live here, which is definitely a transition, and it definitely looks different to the viewers.
We have meetings and conduct our interviews using video conferencing platforms like Zoom.
That's one of Tana's live shots from home back in May. For that story, she checked in with David Rafinsky, vice president of a local architecture engineering firm, about working from home.
Desk set up where I'm able to pretty much do a lot of the things that I would normally be doing at work here at the house.
Fast forward to now, and David is still working remotely.
Would have never guessed that a year later we'd still be at home.
And he's not alone. According to Upwork, the world's largest work marketplace, nearly 42% of the American workforce is working from home, an 87% increase from the number of remote workers before the pandemic. Do you enjoy working from home?
Yes and no. I love the convenience, but I don't know that it's as efficient.
And after a full day of working from home, you probably want to grab a bite to eat. And if you're heading out to a local restaurant, you're going to notice some changes to your dining experience. You're going to have to bring a face mask, and you'll also be distanced from other customers.
The biggest, I think, immediate physical representation for our customers who are used to us was all of our dining rooms were either marked off that you couldn't sit here due to social distancing regulations, or we had removed tables and chairs.
At Market Fresh Gourmet restaurants, Corn Dance Tavern, Jesus Bar and Grill, and Evil Czech Brewery, the past year has been filled with changes.
Once Drew is done serving you your delicious hot meal, then you have the A-OK to take off your mask.
Since the phased reopening of indoor dining in Indiana began, one thing has remained the same for executive chef Drew Sachow at all three of his restaurants. That is, social distancing and mask requirements.
At first, it was obviously difficult. It was not something that we were used to. I would say now, everyone's fairly used to it. We're breathing a little easier a year later than we were 6 months ago. We've, really just kind of embraced that what is going to be our new normal, or the normal for now, and we ultimately at the end, we're just happy to be able to see smiling faces sitting in our restaurants, eating, drinking, and enjoying themselves.
Another part of life that's changed since the start of the pandemic is the way we worship.
So holy water we're not allowed to use because the obvious reasons that dipping your hands in it could spread the virus. Or even our baptismal font is drained right now.
For those who have died, we pray to the Lord. Lord, hear our prayer.
Every week for the past year, services at St. Pius and Granger have been taped days in advance so parishioners can watch from home. That process looks a lot like this: preaching to an empty church with the pews roped off for social distancing.
I remember those first few days, I mean, we had tears in our eyes. It was just, I can't believe this is to an empty church. And we always had to keep reminding ourselves that there is somebody on the other side of the camera.
So looking back a year later, would you say you guys are pretty much pros now?
Yeah, I would. We feel more comfortable with it. You know, I don't like being in front of the camera. And so for those first few weeks when I had to do things, I was like, oh my gosh. But you forget about it after a while.
Pros in a pandemic. It's what we've all had to become, adapting and overcoming every step of the way. And Brian, a lot of those changes we're still, enforcing here at the station. You and I are 6 feet apart right now.
We are indeed.
Yes.
You anchored from home for a long time.
Yes, that I did. And that was very interesting, to not be in the station and to get in the mindset of, oh gosh, I'm on TV, I'm at work.
Sitting on my couch.
Yes.
I was the last one here, and I was going to be the last one to leave, but now that the vaccine's rolling out, a couple more people are trickling back, and I think we're going to get there.
I think we're on our way, Brian.
All right.
Well, coming up on tracking the coronavirus 1 year later, businesses battered, workers laid off, and 2 states with 2 different set of rules.
Plus the impact on education, all the virtual learning, school shutdowns, and how Michiana stayed united through it all.
1 year, 365 days.
We really thought it would be more of a seasonal illness and that it would go away.
The coronavirus pandemic flipped our world upside down, but hope is on the horizon. Businesses forced to shut down and make drastic changes are rebounding.
It's been an emotional roller coaster for me, my staff.
School districts left scrambling to figure out online learning, and ways to teach kids in person safely are optimistic. Tonight, ABC 57 is tracking the coronavirus 1 year later and where we go from here.
We should continue to be hopeful. We should continue to be on guard.
It's never going to be how it was, and we've done our best to make it through it the best we can, and we've had to make adjustments to also, cater to what we're doing now as far as, like I said, with more carry out and things of that nature in the delivery apps and things like that.
Ryan Smith owns Smith's Downtown in Mishawaka. He says the shutdowns and dining restrictions from the COVID-19 pandemic almost cost him his restaurant.
If we wouldn't have had, the dine-in delivery or DoorDash and things of that nature, we wouldn't have made it through it.
And he's not alone.
Our 30th anniversary is just about a month away. And last year, mid-year, I didn't think we'd see our 30th anniversary.
LaSalle Hospitality Group founder and CEO Mark McDonald had to let a lot of his staff go to get by. Now, after a year of constant changes, normal is close. But he says there's still a lot of work left to do.
We're getting back to normalcy, I think. I'm 70 years old. I thought maybe I'd be retired by now when I first started running a restaurant.
Restaurants are not the only businesses that had to make changes over the past year. Stores are also adapting, even ones deemed essential by the state of Indiana, like JCS Fireplace and Stone Incorporated in Mishawaka.
Just appreciate the support, the customers being flexible as we try to create their visions and their projects.
With Indiana and Michigan businesses both facing government-implemented shutdown and capacity limits in response to COVID-19, St. Joseph County businesses have faced both complications and benefits from the restrictions across the state line.
People are coming south, so what does that look like over this past year? Yeah, I think it's a hard thing about being a border community, especially with different rules on both sides of the border. And obviously, the virus doesn't stop at the political line and stuff. So you have had a fair amount of Michigan people that work down here, that shop down here, that eat down here, that have been able to do that with less interruption than they have up in Michigan.
South Bend Regional Chamber of Commerce President and CEO Jeff Ray says the biggest difference between now and a year ago is the end is in sight.
I think people are feeling like they will be able to get together again in the future, and so people who planned events are starting to have events.
Reporting in St. Joseph County, Tony Sandleben, ABC 57 News.
From retail to construction to manufacturing, nearly all Michigan industries were under some sort of shutdown by March 2020. The two industries hit the hardest, restaurants and entertainment.
They had to live or die by press conference to find out how these orders were going to affect them. Often they were confusing, contradictory, seemingly arbitrary.
Places like movie theaters, bowling alleys, and roller rinks stayed completely closed until October, opening with restrictions for only 5 weeks until they were shut down again for 1 month.
Oh yeah, so you guys put your masks on while you're out on the floor.
At Galaxy Roller Rink in Niles, owner Amy Kidwell had a tough choice. She could try and reopen or go under.
I was trying to do what is right, and that's to keep these kids off the streets, keep my business open, employed.
Kidwell got hit with a misdemeanor and $15,000 penalty. Her criminal charge has since been dropped, but she's still fighting the fine.
That is our next hurdle, and the other is vindicating Galaxy that we did no wrongdoing. There was no intent to hurt the public and to put anybody's lives in danger.
Meanwhile, restaurants spent 6 of the last 12 months closed to diners. It's been devastating to the industry, but some have been able to adapt. Silver Beach Pizza in St. Joseph turned their parking lot into a curbside pickup zone, allowing customers to dine in or carry out, the only business in Southwest Michigan to take on this unique challenge.
I guess the silver lining of the pandemic, and there is a silver lining, is that it changed the way that we do our carryout. And the question came up, are we going to go back to the old way we did carryout? Are we going to make people find a place to park, walk up, get their pizza, and go back to their car? Well, no, we can't. I mean, this is so nice.
As restrictions begin to lift, the future is looking brighter for businesses, but it could take years to recover Michigan's local economies.
Businesses need 3 things to survive. That's consumers, cash flow, and certainty. For the last year, businesses have had to go without all 3. And still to this day, many of them are going without 2 of the 3.
One obstacle Southwest Michigan faces is direct competition across the state line and less restrictive Indiana.
Michigan has been unique in a lot of ways in that it has truthfully been an outlier when it comes to statewide shutdowns. When the executive orders were deemed unconstitutional, there were over 170 that were issued. That was, I think, about 1 a day since the very first one in mid-March.
Coming up, the pandemic's impact on schools over the past year. Students across Michiana forced to learn virtually at home for weeks, if not months.
Yeah, the difficulties educators and families faced, and in fact are still facing now, 1 year later.
We're going to the high school. I'll be a senior this year. I'm ready to see everybody, you know, we've all been cooped up. Ready to get out and see all my friends.
He's just ready to get back to somewhat of a normal life, as normal as it can be for, you know, the times that we're in.
The whole world knows that too. I mean, anything can change just like that. It all has. I'm just hoping that the senior year is as normal as it can be.
Hey, G, how was your day?
Good, how was your day?
Good.
As much as high school senior Gunnar Wagner and his family wanted normalcy last August, this year was far from it.
It has been unique. It's kind of took us by storm, I guess.
Honestly, I didn't think we were going to be able to get a whole school year in. I thought everybody would get COVID and everybody would be worried and we'd just go virtual.
Masks and social distancing, just a daily reminder of what the world is facing right now. Today, March 11th, now marking its spot in history books.
the first anniversary of COVID-19 being declared a pandemic. And so as we reflect back, we're grateful for a lot of things. We're grateful for our employees. We're grateful for our teachers.
But what have we seen this year? What have we learned from one of the toughest years in recent history? Well, for South Bend School Superintendent Todd Cummings, there's a lot.
We've learned a lot about ourselves and knowing that we need to make sure our families are connected, that our families have access to food, and that our teachers have the resources that they need to be innovative and creative in teaching students on the internet.
So we're going to pause it right there. Repeat after me.
When everything started to break, and it happened so fast, reflecting back in that time, we weren't fully one-to-one. Not all of our students had devices. We had never had an e-learning day. We've come a long way.
Thousands of dollars later, and even Sarah Hickel, the assistant superintendent for Mishawaka schools, say the goal is the same, making sure students aren't lagging behind.
We had to think about how do we ensure that in the absence of being in our buildings, our students can still receive education. How do we connect our teachers and our students in ways that they had yet to practice and that we hadn't planned for.
We want to talk about the differences between our virtual students and our in-person, because in-person is very different this year.
I really think that set us up so that we didn't see learning loss in that time period, but rather what we call a slide, more similar to like summer. So we've tried to address those in different ways, changing our schedule, adding intentional periods of time that are for remediation and getting extra help.
So we know that our students have spent a year surviving the pandemic. And as we welcome them back, we want to meet them where they are, making sure they're reading on grade level, making sure they're ready to graduate. And those are the things that we want to focus on both now and then as we look at next year as well.
But Hickel says trying to get back to where we were educationally is an impossible task.
I think that what a lot of people are concerned about and asking are they up to par is trying to take students and compare them to previous years, which isn't a fair comparison, right? The norm has changed. And being able to say, have we prepared them and are they ready for that next step? And I'm confident we can do that.
Where you did touch to draw and you had your picture right there on the lab and I got it.
We're back 4 days a week, and after spring break, we'll be back 5 days a week.
And so that's the first time since last March that you've been in all grade levels fully in person.
Yep. To think that here we are a year later, and we're just now preparing to have 100% of them back. Looks really different than we could have ever imagined.
It's been a long road, but there is a spark of reassurance that this pandemic is nearing its end.
Honestly, I feel like it's starting to get back to normal.
As teachers are starting to get vaccinated in Indiana,
we're so excited that we are at a place now where we're getting ready to give our teachers and staff their second dose.
You have to think, when will students be next?
Great work all year long, Tana. Thank you. Up next, the coronavirus also changing the way everyone holds events and celebrations, from weddings to birthdays and holidays. How Michiana stayed united, helping others make it through.
Empty stadiums, abandoned ballparks. COVID-19 brought the world of sports to a screeching halt last spring. And when sports did come back, it was far from normal.
I've been doing it for 30 years. I feel like a first-year head coach.
Weekly coronavirus testing, playing without the roar of the crowd, and constant schedule changes.
Land an airplane while you're building it is what it's like.
But the desire to win.
It is over, and the Irish have knocked off #1 Clemson.
And the thrill of victory remained. How Notre Dame athletics, the South Bend Cubs, and local high schools overcame the challenges of the pandemic. Coming up on ABC 57 News at 6.
Is it gonna hurt?
I feel a small little pinch.
Okay.
Not it.
A small little pinch was all. And yes, since I'm now over the age of 50 myself, I got the shot this week, along with more than 2,000 other people at Lake Michigan College in Benton Harbor. The National Guard joining the Berrien County Health Department to run a mass vaccine clinic on Tuesday. And our local experts say getting nearly everyone to do the same is the key to making the next 12 months better than 2020 was.
I certainly think that we're going to be back to something approaching normal. I think we'll be able to gather with family and friends, and especially people who are vaccinated will feel pretty comfortable.
None of us wanted to have this happen. We only want our community to be healthy, to be safe, to be thriving, for people to live their most optimal lives. And that is what we are very hopeful we will get back to very soon.
2020 calendars went from fully stocked with exciting adventures, celebrations, trips, and vacations to a completely clean slate, virtually empty with just the swab of a nose. But even a worldwide pandemic didn't keep Michiana down for long.
Hi, ladies! Thanks for serving!
Those birthdays,
Happy birthday, dear Omi.
graduations, big and small, the important life moments were all celebrated, even if things looked a little different.
All I knew that my mother-in-law said, honey, there's gonna be a surprise, and just take it all in.
Michiana met this engaged couple back in July during their surprise drive-by wedding shower, held by their family and friends.
I was like, oh, what is happening? And then all the cars came, and the posters that they made for us, it was just so much love that was poured onto me and us.
Since then, the couple exchanged vows
To be honest, faithful, and loving wife.
From the first time I met you, I knew you were the one.
and Mila gained a new last name in their long-awaited socially distanced ceremony on September 20th of 2020.
We got married at the Baker Loft in Holland, Michigan, and it was during the time that the governor had placed the restrictions on us.
Restrictions affecting the catering, flowers, venue, even the guest list. A wedding with originally 400 family and friends trimmed down to 100 after they had to cut down their loved ones who could attend.
And that was a terrible experience because how do you weed out your family and your friends and people you've grown up with? Like, how do you rank these people, right?
What do you pick?
Even with the difficult decisions and heartache along the way, Mila and Christian say they've learned a lot about love for both each other, their families, and
how to value a community, because a community really pulled together for this. From our bakers to the people that were our photographers to the wedding venue itself, everybody went out of their way, made it so we felt the love.
Michiana now home for these Orlando natives, but also a home for those who already have deep roots.
We know that it's sometimes hard to buy things during the pandemic, and sometimes people need extra help with helping get food and shelter.
Kate Holloway and Eloise Herrick have celebrated another birthday since we met these Buchanan natives last July when they collected.
We got $400 worth of money and 1,006 donations of food.
But their passion for collecting donations for the Redbud Area Ministry Food Pantry has only grown.
It just feels really good when you get to help people and you get to help them survive.
The duo came together again this January for an impromptu drive.
We did a last minute get together for Eloise's birthday in January, and Kate gave her money. And about a week later, I asked her what she wanted to buy.
I used it to buy stuff for Ram, and then I did a kind of mini food drive.
The girls used their very own birthday money, donations, and even gathered 300-some food items for Ram, and they can't wait to do more.
The girls are the ones that are driving this. It's not me and Heidi. First of all, they can't wait to start working again in the summer when they're out of school, but they're already talking about when are they going to hold their next fundraiser this summer, and can they do it again?
That helping bug is just making its way all around Michiana.
There were two things that I wanted to do that were kind of on my heart to help the community. The first one was the Heroes Work Here campaign, where we went to fire stations, Memorial, the police, all the nursing homes. We wanted to celebrate them and let them know that we were here for them.
The campaign blew up and brought so much joy to not only the first responders, but also to Nikes. She recently started the Adopt a Grandparent campaign, where you can donate money for a nursing home or elderly person in the community.
We would make these huggable balloons and deliver them to all the nursing homes, and they went crazy, and they hugged them, and they made names for them, and they traded them, and it brought a light that had been missing.
A light Nikes refuses to let dim anytime soon.
The community reached out in ways I didn't expect. I was just kind of asking for a little bit of help to offset costs, but my phone rang, I want to help. So that was great.
These businesses and people surviving and thriving with help from neighbors, schoolmates, friends, and a community all stepping up to do more for each other.
This April, we're going to be doing another program. It's about Bubbles for Hope kind of thing, where we're going to be decorating different areas with big balloon displays to spread some joy to around Easter time.
In a year where lives and opportunities were lost, this community gained so much.
Just become a little more connected to the community. A community that I didn't necessarily know was there. Before it was all business. How can we promote our bottom line? And then it turned into, how can we help the community?
So many people donated money and food. And when we got all that money, we were able to donate too. And it was really nice that the community helped us.
We may not be singing as much, but that song never stopped.
I'm smiling so big, my mask is falling off.
We might not see each other as often.
What is it? It's a trick candle.
But technology...
How many times do I upload?
...helped bridge the gap. We may not have hugged, but love was never lost or forgotten. It only got stronger because of the community who found home in each other.